So Formula One has just hit the giant reset button. The 2026 regulations are here, and they haven't just tweaked the sport. They've completely flipped it on its head. And boy, has it kicked off a firestorm that's splitting the teams, the drivers, and the entire fan base. Okay, let's get into it.
You see, depending on who you ask, this new era of racing is either the most fun we've had since that epic 2021 season, just packed with action, or it's an absolute horror show. A total disaster, an artificial gimmick that's ripping the soul out of Formula One. Literally, there is no in-between right now.
And nothing captures the raw emotion of this whole debate better than this zinger from the world champion, Max Verstappen. I mean, he's basically drawn a line in the sand with that one, and it gets right to the core of how so many of the drivers are feeling.
So let's start by breaking down this massive divide, because it really is like a civil war of opinion, pitting the people watching in the stands against the people sitting in the cars. On one side, you have tons of fans who are absolutely thrilled. They're seeing closer racing, way more action, and an end to those snooze fests where one car just drives off into the sunset. But then, on the other side, you've got drivers like Sergio Perez calling it Mario Kart style, basically saying overtakes now feel like you're just hitting a button for a power-up, not actually out-driving somebody.
Okay, to really get why everyone is so fired up about this, you've got to understand what actually changed. So let's pop the hood and get into the nitty-gritty of this new rulebook.
At the heart of it all is a massive shift in philosophy. The power unit is now split right down the middle, 50% from the good old internal combustion engine and a whopping 50% from the battery and electric systems. So managing your battery charge isn't just a little side quest anymore, it is the main event.
And get this, the cars are now basically transformers. With active aerodynamics, drivers can manually switch modes. They go into a high downforce corner mode for maximum grip, and then on the straights, they flatten everything out into a slippery straight mode to be as fast as possible. They're constantly flicking between these two modes, lap after lap.
And this is the big one. This is what's causing all the arguments. DRS, as we knew it, it's gone. In its place is this Overtake Mode, a huge surge of electric power. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. You can only use it when you're right up on another car's gearbox, within 1 second. It's an overtaking tool, not just a go faster button you can use whenever you want.
So what was the point of all this chaos? Well, the FIA, the sports governing body, had some clear goals. They wanted lighter, more nimble cars, they wanted closer, more exciting wheel-to-wheel racing, and they wanted the technology to be more like what you see in the hybrid supercars on the road today. I mean, on paper, who's going to argue with that? Sounds perfect, right?
Yeah, but the reality? Well, it's been a bit more controversial. So let's look at the case against these new regulations, the side that's calling it all artificial racing. The critics' argument is basically this. The overtakes just feel fake. They feel scripted, like it's just about who managed their battery better before pressing a button. And instead of flat-out racing, we're seeing drivers lifting and coasting into corners to save energy. That doesn't exactly scream Formula One, does it? Many feel it's become less about who's the bravest on the brakes and more about who's the best at playing an energy management minigame. And this quote from Checo Perez, it just sums it up perfectly. His joke about needing a Mario Kart mushroom really captures that gimmicky feeling. It's not an earned overtake. It's like you just found a power-up on the track.
And look, this isn't just one or two drivers grumbling. It's widespread. Lando Norris, one of the biggest stars in the sport, didn't hold back at all. He called the racing very artificial and said the cars have gone from being the best ever to probably the worst. Ouch.
Okay, but that is only one side of the coin. Let's flip it over and look at the counterargument. Because for every person who hates it, there's a fan who thinks this is the best thing to happen to F1 in years. The supporters argue that these rules have finally solved Formula One's biggest problem, those boring, predictable races. Now it's a thinking driver's game. Every single lap demands these complex decisions about when to burn your energy and when to save it. And yeah, it creates chaos, it creates unpredictability, and it creates a whole lot more on-track action.
And you know what? The numbers don't lie. Just look at this. At the Australian Grand Prix, we saw about 120 overtakes. The year before, around 45. That is a massive, massive jump. So you can argue about the quality of those passes all day long, but you can't argue with the quantity.
So here's the fundamental shift, okay? Think about it like this. Before, the strategy was all about making your tires last for, say, a 20-lap stint. It was a long game. Now, it's about managing your battery life on every single lap. It's a micro battle, second by second, a total change in mindset.
And you know, for everyone calling this tech a gimmick, the supporters have a pretty good comeback. They just point to the fastest, most desirable supercars on the planet. Your Ferraris, your Porsches, your McLarens, they all use this exact same tech, a short burst of electric power for a boost. So in that sense, F1 has never been more relevant to the cars on the road.
So where does all this leave us? Well, it brings us to a huge philosophical question about the very identity of Formula One. What is it even supposed to be?
This table, I think, breaks it down perfectly. You've really got two camps. Are you a purist? Someone who values raw speed and pure driver skill above all else? You believe the fastest car and driver should win, period? Or are you a strategist? You love the unpredictability, the tactics. You want to see a clever strategy beat a faster car. And you can see how each side views the other. The purist calls this new racing artificial, while the strategist looks back at the old racing and just calls it boring.
And let's be honest, we can't ignore the team politics here. Is it really a surprise that fans of Mercedes and Ferrari, whose teams nailed the new rules, are pretty happy? And on the flip side, with Red Bull struggling after years of dominance, it's no shock that their camp is the most critical. Let's face it, who you cheer for on Sunday probably has a lot to do with which side of this argument you're on.
So we end with the one question that this whole thing really boils down to. What do you, as a fan, believe is the true pinnacle of motorsport? Is it all-out, unrestricted speed, where the fastest machine and the best driver always come out on top? Or is it a complex, unpredictable chess match on wheels? Formula One has placed its bet for 2026. Now the question is, was it the right one?